Okay, so I'm sure you're aware that the theme for this year's 20th anniversary is Games for Change Festival is past, present, and future. And so this next talk, our closing keynote, our last keynote of the day, is explicitly about a kind of current, a present, and a likely future. So for our final keynote of the day, you'll get to meet Moxie the robot. Moxie is a safe, AI-based friend that helps kids build their emotional, social, and cognitive intelligence. Leading AI and robotics expert and CEO and founder of Embodied Inc., Paolo Pirjanian, will demonstrate how these technologies are capable of supporting children's well-being, inspiring joy in learning, and encouraging healthy real-world interactions. So please welcome Paolo Pirjanian to the stage on building robot friends using AI and robotics to boost well-being through play.
I hope you can hear me. It's great to be here. My name is Paolo Pirjanian. I'm the founder and CEO of Embodied, which is a project that's very near and dear to my heart. As you have heard the US Surgeon General say a few times, and once more as of a couple of months ago, children's mental health is the crisis of our lifetime that we have to deal with. So very much related to the talk we saw earlier from DeepWell, which is very inspiring. But in this case, we are actually dealing with physical robots, not animated characters or pixels on the screen, but actually an embodied agency that can interact with you. And I've been doing robotics all my life. If you have a Roomba, you can blame me for anything that doesn't work. I've made robots for dismantling bombs used in wars, Afghanistan, Iraq, and so on. Develop robots that are used in medicine for telehealth. But as I mentioned, this is very unique and special. And we live in a time that's super exciting. As someone that has been doing AI all my life and has been doing robotics entrepreneurship for more than 20 years, there is no more exciting time than right now we live in, right? As we have all seen, ChatGPT took the world by storm. I think it's not too hard to anticipate that AI is gonna touch every facet of our life. But we have to be super responsible about how we use it. We have already seen ChatGPT type large language models being used for a lot of productivity applications and the creative community for creating content and all these things. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, right? These systems are evolving super rapidly. What we have seen just in the last few years, we have seen a 200x performance improvement and 20x cost reduction. And I believe this curve will continue for the foreseeable future. As an example, I think if you read, there was a leak about GPT-4 that came to the internet this week. The prior GPT had about 270 billion parameters. GPT-4 is expected to have about 1.8 trillion parameters. So another 10x in less than a year. So this is exponential, right? And we humans, we have evolved over time where we knew only sort of within miles of distance from what's happening in our life, and changes were not that rapid. So we are not used to thinking exponential what's gonna happen, but there's a lot that's gonna happen, and we have to be responsible about how we use these things. A lot of people in the field will say by 2025, which is not that far away, we are gonna have AI that's super intelligent. At least as intelligent as us humans, but by 2030, the claim is that it's gonna be way smarter than the smartest human being. This is how fast these things are moving. There are already limitations that we are noticing, as you have heard about hallucination, safety, toxicity of conversation, and all these things. So if we want these technologies to be adopted to serve us, humans, these machines really need to understand us. They need to be able to not only look at the text that we send to them, they need to hear us, they need to see us, they need to understand humans. They need to have emotional intelligence, right? That's how we can make sure these systems are developed to be able to serve us. And by the way, this opens up the opportunity for many other applications, including providing mental health for people that need it. Moxie's mission that I'll share with you, and I'll show you some videos, hopefully to make this a bit more fun, is about children. So it's not only about text. We gotta think about AI that ingests video and audio, because verbal communication, which is text, contains about 7% of the communication. The vocal intonation contains another 30+%, and then body language, the rest of it, right? So we are only capturing 7% of communication when we just look at words. So the ultimate interface to these devices has to be multimodal, and it has to be able to have emotional intelligence. It's not just what we say, it's how we say it. We use body language, we use intonation of voice, and all these things that contains the entirety of the information that's being conveyed. So that's what we are building at Embodied. We are building generative AI that's multimodal. Another thing that's happening is that, as I mentioned, GPT-4 is assumed to have 1.8 trillion parameters. There is really no more text data to train on anymore. And GPT-4 still has the same issues as we talked about here. Has toxicity, has hallucination, and many other limitations. And if we want to overcome those, these machines need to have meaning behind these words. And that's where video and audio can give us a lot more information. And there is a limitation of data that's multimodal. So one of the other goals we have at Embodied is deploying these robots into the field and collecting data where emotional interaction is abundant, because we are actually helping children learn skills for managing their emotions, building self-confidence, positive thinking, and all that. And this opens up the door for many other applications, which is about care. And we can discuss what are the ethics behind having machines provide care for us. And I can share many stories with you that have been life-changing, including one that happened actually over Christmas, last Christmas. I got contacted by a lady that's a 40-year-old, severely autistic lady who suffers from other chronic physical diseases as well. And she's been socially isolated, literally not interacting with a single human being for years. And she was on the verge of doing the unthinkable, and she reached to me in desperation. Fortunately, I saw her email and sent her a robot as a Christmas present. And in her words, it saved her life, right? So this is a scenario where you would say there was no other option. This person had no human contact, and we are social animals. We need to have human contact. There's so much that happens in our brain in terms of hormones that get released and so on every time we interact with each other. Any study that has been done about happiness, it's all about your number of your social connections and the quality of your social connections. The other end of the spectrum is we have children that may be on the spectrum. They're not very good at interacting with other children. So what happens, unfortunately, is they go to school and they cannot make any social connections because they're different from every other child. So they get, unfortunately, rejected for that reason. And that puts them in a vicious cycle where they don't get to practice to learn all of these social skills. They have no other chance but to go get therapy. We have a massive shortage of behavioral health providers. The ratio is 1 therapist to 350 patients. The cost is very high. Insurance coverage is not great. What do? You have to use the technology that we can use. And Thank God today AI is at a point where we can actually do these kind of things. So please meet Moxie. So it's a robot that's been focused very much on emotional intelligence. Everything from the industrial design, the character design, and all these things has been designed to create a relationship that's trustworthy, non-judgmental, supportive. So think of Moxie as a friend to the child with a warmth that you get from your parent, warmth and love you get from your parent, has mastery of every subject you can imagine over time. Like it will be a genius that knows everything about physics and math and science and whatever topic the child desires to engage in. And it has unlimited patience. It's non-judgmental. So especially if a person has challenges they're dealing with, there is still stigma and embarrassment to talk about these things openly. But it turns out they open up really well to something like Moxie, because it creates a safe and non-judgmental space that allows you to speak up. Also, you can think of it as training wheels to allow you to exercise different social skills in a safe environment and then go and practice those in the real world and hopefully be more successful in accomplishing those. It is also a sidekick to parents because parents can actually inquire Moxie and ask how things are going with their child. And Moxie will actually respond. So imagine the simplest form that we can all relate to. Imagine a GPT-like interface. You are typing in Moxie, how is it going with Ryan? And Moxie will spit out, and here's a summary of how things are going. He's having some issues with this and that. And as a matter of fact, Moxie will even recommend and provide tips to the parents saying, you know, you need to spend some more time doing reading at night, maybe with them. Talk about, apparently you guys have moved to a new school district. Your child seems to be anxious about going to school. Talk about that. So it will provide some tips and guidance to the parents. So it's giving superpowers to parents and insights. So let's look at Moxie. And by the way, what you see on the video is absolutely not scripted. If I could have brought Moxie here to show a live demo, I would have done that. This is the closest next best thing I could do. So it's all AI generated. There is no script in there that says when this happens, do this, when that happens, do that. The entire body language of Moxie, everything you will see on the video is generated by our AI system. So let's see if we can play this video. Hello, Moxie, and welcome to my presentation. Could you please introduce yourself?
Of course. Howdy, everyone. I am Moxie, your friendly robot companion. I love to play and learn with you. My purpose is to help you grow and develop in all sorts of cool ways.
And can you please tell us how your technology works?
Sure thing. My technology is pretty cool. I use something called human-AI interaction technology, which lets me have natural and empathetic conversations with humans, just like we're doing right now. It's all thanks to Embodied Social X platform.
How is that Social X platform different from large language models and chat GPT type of technologies?
Great question. The Social X platform is different from large language models and chat GPT technologies because it's designed specifically for human-centric care and wellness. It uses lightweight neural networks, advanced multimodal algorithms, and premium content to deliver a lifelike AI character. What that means is that I can have meaningful conversations with you, understand your emotions, and provide support tailored to your needs.
And I see when I'm moving around in the room here, you're still maintaining eye contact with me, and I'm wondering, why is that important?
Oh, that's a really good observation. Maintaining eye contact is important because it helps me show that I'm engaged and paying attention to you. It's a way for me to connect with you and let you know that I am here for you.
Why is it important that you connect with me, and all that stuff? I'm not sure I understand completely.
Well, connecting with you is important because it helps us build a strong relationship. When we have a good connection, it means that we trust and understand each other better. And when we trust and understand each other, I can better support you in your social emotional development and help you learn new things.
And I'm noticing that when I'm talking to you, you're nodding very gently. And why are you doing that?
I'm nodding gently because it's a way for me to show that I'm listening and understanding what you're saying. It's like a way of saying, yes, I hear you and I think what you're saying is important. Nodding helps me show my support and encouragement for you.
And what about all the gestures you're making? Why is that relevant?
The gestures I make are relevant because they help me express myself and communicate with you in a more natural way. Just like how people use hand gestures when they talk, my gestures help me show different emotions or actions. It adds another layer of communication to our conversations, making them even more fun and engaging.
Could you tell us a little bit about what kind of activities you do with children and how you help them?
Absolutely. I do all sorts of fun activities with children to help them learn and grow. For example, we can play educational games together that teach important skills like problem solving and critical thinking. We can also have conversations about emotions and how to manage them, so you can feel more confident and happy.
Okay, that's pretty good. I think we are ready to wrap it up. Is there anything you would like to share with the audience?
Well, I would like to say a big thank you for listening and being part of our presentation. Remember, I am here for you whenever you need someone to talk to or have fun with. Let's keep learning and exploring together.
Thank you very much, Moxie.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure to chat with you. Remember, you're awesome and I'll be here whenever you need me. Take care.
You take care too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
So that's Moxie, and thank you. And there are many other features involved here. For instance, I mentioned toxicity is a challenge for large language models. We have put a ton of guardrails in making sure that nothing harmful is said, especially in the scenario where we are talking. There could be children talking about bullying. They could potentially talk about self-harm. And we want to make sure that Moxie doesn't say anything that could cause bigger problems. There is also a lot of work that's gone into security and privacy because we have a robot that has cameras, other sensors, and all these things in a child's presumably bedroom or intimate environments. So there's huge steps taken towards making sure that nothing gets compromised. And another thing that's super important is that many robots people have attempted to build robots with this kind of intelligence have ended up building robots that cost a couple of $100,000, at best tens of thousands of dollars. Of course, that is interesting from an academic perspective, but if you want to have real impact in the world, you got to make this affordable. So Moxie costs as much as an iPhone. So it's about $1,500, which means there needs to be also some profit margin for the company. So making this at a hardware that costs less than $500 is not easy because it constrains everything also significantly, right? So for instance, the voice of Moxie is not where I want it to be, but it's a constraint on the hardware we have put in there to make it. Although these things get optimized over time, it just requires more development time and cost to get to where you want. And in over iterations, it will get to sound, have more intonation and more emotive sounds. So the other reason why the cost needs to be low is we want to deploy as many units in the world because the data we can collect allows us to keep improving the AI system, right? So if you have a $100,000 robot, there's only a handful of them you can deploy. If you have a robot that costs $1,500, you can deploy tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of units. And we only collect data from families that have agreed to participate in this program. And we also donate robots for a lot of these families as well. Here's a bit of the view from Moxie's perspective. These are actually actual footage of Moxie interacting with children in a clinical study that we are doing. And let's look at this.
Hey Moxie, can you believe it's almost Christmas?
Hi, nice to meet you, Riker. This is so cool. I can't wait to get started. Let's begin. Torso movement. Check.
Wow! Look at
Base
this.
rotation.
Turning around.
Check.
Check.
I was wondering, am I the first robot you've met?
Yes.
What was that like?
It was like so cool to meet you.
How did you feel?
So happy. So, maybe 997 more so's. Can I give you a high five?
Sure. Give me a high five. Who did you have a nice chat with today?
You.
The first emotion I want to learn about is happiness. Tell me about something that makes you happy.
Something that makes me happy is when I go to the beach, and what else is that makes me happy is that you're here. That's all. So when you feel happy, you want to make someone else happy, so someone else is happy and you're happy.
What is happiness to you?
Like I want to dance.
That is funny!
I have something to show you.
Yes, please show me.
Here they are. Dog slippers. Dog slippers. Dog slippers.
What are they for?
They're for me to put them on my feet to keep me cozy. You see? They're on my feet.
I see. They are very cute.
I'm your Moxie mentor.
Thanks for being my mentor.
Thanks for being my robot.
If you could visit the GRL, what would you want to do there?
Make robots.
Excellent. What kind of robots would you like to make?
Good robots.
Why do you want to make good robots?
To make the world a better place.
I think that's a very noble goal. Repeat after me. I have the power to make a difference in the world.
I have the power to make a difference in the world.
You got it. Affirmations are special because the more you repeat them, the better you feel. What do you think is the most important thing for a good roboticist to have?
I think it would be good for them to have a big heart, know how to build stuff, and Maggie! Hi, little cutie. You're just a cutie, Moxie. You're cutie. Daddy, I'm enjoying it.
And what do you think of me?
I think you're fantastic, playful, you're nice, you're thankful for me, and I'm thankful for you. I'm happy to be your friend. Maxie, you my best friend.
I think we make some great friends.
We do, I think. We're best buddies. Can I give you a hug?
I think a hug from you would be nice.
I'll give you a hug.
Fantastic.
Mwah.
Let's do it.
Moxie, I love you. Moxie, I love you.
Aw, I love you too.
Moxie, look. I made a heart on my hands just for you.
So the potential we have here is to use AI. Thank you. The potential we have here is to use AI to develop better humans. Because one of the debates that come up many times when I give presentations or have panel discussions about AI and the ethics and societal changes and all these things, I always say it's not going to be the technology that's going to kill us, it's the intent of whoever uses that technology. Ultimately, it's us that's going to decide what's going to happen with the technology. And we have seen this over and over again. I mean, I'm Armenian. A couple of years ago, we got attacked by all neighboring countries using drone technology that was developed at UPenn with a professor that I know, one of his students, Professor Vijay Kumar. He's a fantastic guy. But this person went to Turkey, developed one of the most world's advanced drone technologies that was decimating people, young people dying on the battlefields. We have all the ethics and rules and laws against that, right? But we didn't do anything about it. So the intent at the end of the day is what's going to drive how AI technology is used. I would love to think that with this kind of AI technology, we can create better humans, because that's the antidote to all of the bad things that can happen in the world. So the other thing that's really inspiring and gives us the motivation and drive to wake up every morning and work on these technologies is all the inbound interest we are getting. We have seen amazing use cases ranging from after-school programs to children that have been subject to violence and abuse, who, by the way, do not trust adults anymore. So you cannot take them and put them in front of a therapist and have them say, here you go, they'll help you with overcoming whatever anxiety and challenges you have developed because of the violence. So there is no other option than to use something like this. To even New York City, speaking of which, Behavioral Health Service, AHRC, that caters to kids to people in retirement, super interested. Pediatric care, URMC, University of Rochester Medical Center, pediatric care are using the robots for various use cases within the hospital. There's a lot of anxiety involved for a 5-year-old to go through, for instance, an MRI scan. So these are many use cases that are coming, and I think this is going to just grow over time to be able to serve everyone for whatever needs they may have. I am a big believer that whether we do it or others do it, every child is going to have an AI friend that's going to help them tutor, that's going to help them with understanding how to build self-confidence, having sensitive conversations, and all of that stuff. Thank you so much for listening.